the accolades, especially in golf, you play so many tournaments, but obviously you've had a really, really successful career, and especially at South Carolina. And I mean, you literally look down these awards. We could spend like 10 minutes just going down them all. But let's go back to the beginning again. One of North Augusta's finest. Like I said, the first time I've ever had a fellow Yellow Jacket on the show. But talk about, again, I know recruiting in golf is a lot different. It starts really, really early. And just kind of talk about the process for you, because it's interesting. Like when you're part of a golf team, if you will, like in high school, even middle school, like it's a team sport in that, but it's such an individual sport, obviously, as you're seeing now at the pro level. Just talk about the recruiting process, the schools that popped up, and then eventually why you chose South Carolina.
Yeah, it does start extremely early. I mean, you're very right about that. It starts super early. I was starting to get stuff around 8th grade, 9th grade, and then I was committed right at the end of my sophomore year of high school. I mean, it was a long, drawn out process of kind of that part in the recruiting aspect of it. And then you just sit there and wait for 2 or 3 years to kind of go to the school that you committed to. But I kind of wanted to stay closer to home. I'm kind of a homebody. I didn't want to go somewhere where I was going to fly there and then not come home for 4 months and stuff like that. So I was kind of always down to Georgia, South Carolina, and Clemson. And unfortunately, I grew up a Georgia fan. I know that's hard to believe, but I grew up a Georgia fan. But Billy Mack just kind of stole all my love for schools and everything. Billy Mack is one of my mentors. He was one of the best coaches I'd ever had. Still one of the best coaches I'd ever had. A great friend. I still talk to him. I talked to him yesterday about the team going to the LSU Invitational, and he was kind of the reason I chose South Carolina. I mean, I wasn't really big into campuses and really finding stuff like that. I was big into what golf was going to lead to and who I thought could make me the best player that I could turn into. And I thought Billy Mack could lead me down that path. And I grew a huge, huge love for the university after I committed to South Carolina and then going into school that I never thought I really could. Cause I played all my golf in Aiken growing up. I went to North Augusta, but I never really had a huge love I never really felt that school passion. And then for high school, and then I went through the recruiting process and I was a Georgia fan, but then I really liked South Carolina. So I kind of lost my football ways and like watching football and kind of my ties to any kind of school there. And then once I committed and once I kind of started to dive into South Carolina, my passion really grew for the university and the school.
Yeah, for sure. I want you to expand on Billy Mack because, like I said, I was able to get him on the show a couple summers ago, and he's an awesome dude. I mean, absolute character. But it's interesting, again, people think about the sport of golf, and again, it's such an individual sport, but you do have this coach, if you will, which I'm assuming it depends on the guy. Some guys you want to be hands-on with and get in their ear, and some guys you just leave alone and you kind of let them do their thing. What type of role did he have for you? Are you more of a guy you like your coach? And I know I was reading up, obviously your father had a big role in your golf career and was kind of your coach growing up, if you will. Are you more of a guy that you like your swing coach to be really, really hands-on and like every other swing is like telling you this and that? Or are you kind of hey, let me do my thing and we'll evaluate end of round or end of tournament?
Well, I wouldn't say it's more so about swing and technique and stuff like that. I liked hands-on. I think Billy Mack walked almost every hole with me for probably my last 2 years of school. I like the camaraderie. I like being able to talk, whether it's about football or golf or movies that are coming out or cars or whatever. I like being able to just kind of ramble. It's kind of my nature. It's how I decompress. It's how I kind of get out nerves. I just like to talk, and I like to talk about all sorts of things. And Billy Mack was great at being able to kind of shut off within kind of between shots. But then when you needed to kind of lock in and we were talking about numbers and yardages, it made everything really clear to me on what we were trying to do. And that really taught me a ton about my own golf game, especially when I was getting out and going into kind of mini tour golf and I was by myself and stuff like that. I really kind of lent on what he had taught me from school and what we used to talk about. And I still do to this day. He was an invaluable kind of piece of the puzzle that really, really helped me kind of grow and turn into the player that I am now. But I did like having the hands-on feel, whether it wasn't really that technique oriented, but if it needed to be, it needed to be. I mean, sometimes you go out there and you're going to struggle. I mean, I didn't hit it that good for 4 or 5 holes. And then you're like, hey, we've been working on this for a while. What do you see? What do you think I need to try and get through this round and try and figure out how to shoot a good number out here? And he was instrumental in kind of changing that aspect for me. But I do like the hands-on. I like being able to talk to him and stuff like that.